What is good? What is poppin', everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Today we are talking New World Update 1.0.5. Now, this patch seems to be coming out at 7 a.m. on November 4th, so it's a little bit later than usual. Sometimes we've been getting it about 10 p.m. PT on the day prior. Looks like if you're in UTC time zone, you are going to be getting it about mid-afternoon. This update seems to be addressing some pretty big bug fixes and has some other pretty cool balance changes, in my opinion. So we're going to get right into it. Before we do that, you already know that if you are enjoying this, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy this kind of content. Gets it out to more people. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're to have a great community growing on over here, so why not be part of it? With all that being said, guys, let's get right into the video. All right, so like I said, we got this new world patch 1.0.5. It has this is a little TLDR of what essentially the whole patch is about, but let's get right into it. So, general, it's coin sellers. We know that many of you have seen the pesky chat messages from players spamming messages, and we're continuing to investigate the solutions to this issue. I don't know about you guys, but I see it all the time. Probably see sometimes more gold sellers than actual people in the game. So it's pretty cool that they're talking about it and actually finally getting a hand on it, because it's been kind of getting out of hand. We discovered that many coin sellers were creating new characters and transferring money to other accounts to combat this weave. Banned and suspended many other reported accounts. Thank you for your reports and player spamming chat. Now, this is still ongoing. If you ever see a gold spammer, make sure to be reporting them. This is a really, really great big way to make sure we alleviate them out of the game. Next step, though, they say added restrictions to prevent player-to-player trading and currency transfer from characters under level 10 and whose account is less than 72 hours old. Logging in after your account is 72 hours old will enable your ability to trade and transfer currency once you've hit level 10. This is really big, so essentially, if you guys didn't really know what was going on, people were making characters and just going straight to cities to be able, or essentially get to cities straight away to be able to trade, and that's how they were being able to do this duplication bug with the gold and everything. So this is a really great way to kind of weed out a lot of them. Now, obviously, there's still going to be some people that are figuring out other ways, but this is a really great change to fix that. Redistributed coin values from some early quests to later in the main story quest line, keeping the totals of amount of gold the same, just delivered in quest slightly later. Essentially, rather because I think it was before level 10 or something like that, you could get a pretty close to like 1,000 gold. People were just doing that and then giving it to their main character and like doing it in a matter of a couple minutes. And so it looks like they're trying to make sure that doesn't happen. The total amount is the same, but it looks like you're going to be getting on a little bit later. Trading post usage will be restricted until new characters accept the introduction to trading post quest in their first settlement. Again, just trying to weed out, making sure that you can't just make a new character and then within a couple of minutes you can pretty much be at a settlement and trading and stuff like that. We will monitor the impact of this has on the bots and health of the game and continue to adjust necessary. These are really great changes. I know gold spammers have been a huge thing in the game, and it seems these are pretty good changes. I think they're going to weed out, like I would say, probably 90% of them. Well, moving on to exploits, fixed a bug where players were able to duplicate items via storage sheds and crafting stations. This is kind of the same thing when it comes to gold, which it looks like they're talking about here, maybe a little bit down below. But gold duplication is obviously a reason why our trade was shut down. So it looks like there's just a lot of ways to duplicate in this game. Thankfully, it seems like they're trying to fix it and make sure that it can't happen. I was saying we fixed the issue of gold duplicating on territory projects we introduced by disabling trading and made sure it would not occur in the future. So we should in the future should we need to disable trading again. Essentially, they're just trying to fix any kind of duplication going on in the game. If you guys are doing it, please stop. It's not cool. You're going to get banned. It's not healthy for the game. You disable stuff. It's not good for nobody. So if you guys are doing this, please just stop. You can get cold other way, and it's just not worth it. Moving on to some other big changes in the combat here. Life staff or protection remove the small area effects that were triggering through pass-through from every hit of the base version of the orb protection. It looks like they're just kind of fixing the way it's supposed to work. It's going to be a little bit less AoE that you're getting here, but not too big, at least on first glance. It doesn't look like it's the craziest thing. AoE no longer triggers on pass-through from the Aegis upgrade. It will only trigger on impact against enemy such object now. I think that's actually a little bit bigger. I think if I'm correct, this means that when it was like the last upgrade. I might be wrong, but you could hit it out, and essentially that's when it started to work on an AoE. So it looks like it will only trigger when you hit on somebody rather than just sitting on the ground, which is as intended. But I think that's going to be essentially you're going to have to hit people a lot more consistently if you want this stuff to work. Now we're getting into the stuff that I think is really, really huge. I think a lot of people have been asking for. Reduce attribute respec coin cost by 60% and reduce a weapon mastery respec asset by 75%. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've been kind of going back and forth about what weapons I want, what attributes I want to go with, this and stuff, the split and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of pricey to do it, and it's not as easy to do because of how pricey it is. So you do it a lot less, and you don't do it as often as you want to, or as often as like there's PVE builds. Say you have the same two weapons, so you have PVE builds and you have PvP builds. This is going to be dramatically decreasing the cost, 60% for the respec of attributes and 75% for the respec of respec of mastery. And that's I can't even describe. That's probably I haven't looked at so far in some of these other changes, but this is huge. This is going to be this is such a quality of life bug fix, not bug fix, sorry, quality of life fix that is going to be in the game. And I can't wait for this. It's going to allow for way more people to try way different builds. You're going to hopefully be seeing a little bit more diverse builds in Outpost Rush open world PvP, especially with, if you look at my last video with the PvP update that we have, they're going to be increasing more open world PvP in the game, or hopefully that's their plan, at least by adding more PvP missions, giving you flat luck when you fly for PvP. So all these things are going to be really nice, and hopefully you're going to be seeing a little bit more diverse build, because right now you kind of go with either what's best or kind of what you already have because it's just so pricey to respec. So this is a really big change. Moving on, reduce coin cost of chisels by 20 to 50% depending on the tier. That's big. I know chisels have I haven't heard too much of it, but it is a little bit pricey. So it's cool that I'm seeing this. I haven't seen too many huge complaints about this, but I've seen a little bit of like, oh, it'd be nice to have a little quality of life fix for that. To encourage competition, not push rush, we've slightly reduced the coin and Azoth rewards for the losing team. Um, I know that some people were concerned because whether you won or lost an outpush rush, you essentially still made really great coin in Azoth. So it looks like they're saying they're slightly reducing it. They don't give specific numbers here, so I'm not entirely sure exactly how much it's going to be. But I think this is good. I think if you're trying to farm coin in Azoth, I think just playing outpush rush, trying to just be like the all answer. I think that you should be definitely having to make sure that you win, or at least trying to win, because I know that there are some people that were going into Outpost Rush and they would just like have a macro where you're spamming up and down jumping, because if you lost, it didn't matter because you got so much coin Azoth. So this is saying slightly reduced. I mean, depending on the numbers, I might honestly say that I would rather have it be like more than slightly, but we're just going to have to see. Next up, it says we have surfaced the war conflict progress bars on the map and the faction board when there's upcoming invasion, as you can still gain war conflict for your faction. That's cool. Um, I'm not. I'm not really. We have surfaced the war conflict progress bars. Oh, on the map and faction board when there's an upcoming invasion. Okay, I see. So essentially, if there's an invasion, you can still see the progress bars for wars. Okay, that for some reason at first that was kind of confusing for me to read. Identical weapon equipping. I don't have to read this. I know exactly what this is probably going to say. It's saying players no longer equip the same weapon, both types of weapon slots. So the reason why this is a huge thing, I don't know if you guys know, you'd probably be asking, well, why does that matter? Because it's not like you share cooldown. So if you have a weapon, and you use one of your abilities, it's on cooldown for both. The big reason why this is being fixed is because people were abusing and exploiting the fire staff and life staff. Essentially, if you could swap weapons and kind of animation cancel in a sense and just rapid fire your auto attacks out, and that's what people were doing, and it was just like game breaking essentially. So that's why this is happening. I'm very happy this is being addressed. It seems weird in the first place that you would have identical. You could even equip the identical weapons because you share the same weapons or weapon cooldowns. So it didn't really make sense in the first place. But that's cool that you can see this. Group scaling passives fix issues which could cause passive effects that scaled on number of nearby foes, such as Bloodlust and the Great Axe, against all odds on the Hatchet and outnumbered Warhammer to apply incorrectly. I think this is one of the things that was causing the Hatchet to do 3 times extra damage. Now, if you've seen any of my previous videos, or excuse me, or hearing other things on social media or Reddit or anything, again, Hatchet has this thing where you could essentially do like 3 times as much damage, and it was like pretty much game breaking. So I'm glad they're fixing this. I'm hoping this is one of the big issues that fixes it. I've heard there's a couple other things, but this is like one of the biggest ones. This is huge. This is the Hatchet on top of some other bug fixes was what was causing people to just rage quit. So I'm glad this is being fixed. It's weird that this is saying this is under just combat rather than like bug fixes, but either way, I'm glad this is being fixed. Spell track consistency, fix an issue, caused several magic spells such as Ice Storm, Gravity Well to not hit consistently. Hopefully this also applies to like Fireball. I know as a Fire Staff user, you could shoot out Fireball and it would just go through the ground or through the person, not even hit. So I'm glad they're just fixing the spells in the game. Most of Magic is pretty much broken, so I'm glad that this is getting fixed. Resilient item perk. I'm assuming this is talking about the bug that was going on. Fixed an issue that caused this perk to reduce all damage instead of just damage from critical hits. So yeah, so this was a huge thing. This resilient plus the hatchet 3 times damage. Plus, I'm assuming there's going to be something down here about food stacking buffs. You did all that, and you were unkillable, and you just did unbelievable damage, and you literally could 1v10, 1v15 some people. It was just unreal how much you could do. So I'm glad this is getting fixed. Again, it's weird that it's saying that this isn't in the bug fixes, but regardless, PvP plaguing fixed an issue that allowed PvP and PvE players to heal each other. I saw this a little bit. This is mainly pertaining to open world PvP, not really obviously wars and stuff, instance PvP. But essentially, like you could get healed by some random person going about their merry way while you're dueling or something, or open world PvP. So I'm glad that I got that fixed. Outpush rush. Fixed an issue that was allowing players to get out of the starting fort before the match starts. That's pretty big. I mean, it is, but it's I'm glad it's fixed, I should say. But like there's some people that could say that it wasn't as huge as some of these other fixes. I'm glad this got fixed, but I'm hoping reading the rest of these bug fixes, they fixed on some of the other really bigger bugs fixes that I think need to be fixed over this. But this is I'm glad they fixed it. Any fixes I see, I'm happy with. I just hope that there's the ones that are pretty much the game breaking ones, the ones are at least fixed in this patch, and not just some more menial ones, in my opinion. We now prevent multiple players from interacting with the altar and Outpost Rush. This will prevent players from getting multiple summon tokens per 500 Azoth. That's pretty big. I know this is causing some really weird interactions in the game, so I'm glad that this is fixed. Fixed an issue that sometimes caused nameplates of summon allies to appear hostile. That's just weird. I wouldn't really make. It's just weird that that was even a thing. Glad that got fixed. Fixed an issue that was causing battle bread, the food buff and out, to be twice as effective as intended. This on top of some other things, hopefully in here, the food stacking buffs. Again, another reason why the hatchet thing, people were just rage quitting, was super broken. Glad that got fixed. Updated the tooltip for Battle Bread and Monster Slayers to properly describe the buffs they provide. Cool, just a UI kind of thing. Fixed an issue that could cause players to become stuck in a teleport loop if they teleport out of Outpost Rush while using Unstuck. Yeah, this is a huge thing. Hopefully, also seen here, but people were leaving like Outpost Rush and essentially not able to play the game. Or they were trying to teleport out because they got stuck, and essentially they just were in an infinite loop that they couldn't get out. So that's good that they're getting fixed. General bug fixes. Here I'm hoping that there's some pretty big ones I'm hoping to see from here. Let's just go right into it. Fix an issue that prevented some players from joining Outpost Rush because they had a pending group invite. That's good. Just a little. That's little. I mean, that's big, but it's kind of big. But it's at the same time, it's not game breaking. That's just that's a nice quality of life, essentially, right? Repair kit should no longer require a coin to use. That's weird. I didn't know that that was a thing. Fixed an issue that sometimes caused players to use wrong consumable when using consumables from the inventory screen. That's a little weird. I'm glad that that's kind of fixed. That would be really unfortunate if you used your like you had like one, I don't know, luck food on and you were waiting to use it or something and you accidentally consumed it because some sort of bug. Fixed various issues with invasion status showing before the invasion was declared. That's got another, so that was pretty confusing for some players. You couldn't join into it or anything, but I know that that was kind of just a little quality of life that people wanted back. Updated missing English text for an on login pop-up explaining house tax compensation. Haven't heard much about that. Guess that's good. Fixed an issue allowing magic weapons to animation cancel their primary attacks with weapon swap or targeting spells, causing rate of fire to be faster than intended. So this on top of the thing we saw earlier up here, which was the identical weapon equipping. That's exactly what I was talking about. People were able to essentially spam basic attacks essentially with either a fire staff or life staff, and it was just rapid firing, and it was just completely broken. So I'm glad that got fixed. Fixed an issue that caused the ice column to upgrade pylon dodge to only work immediately after you place the pylon. I haven't heard a lot about that. I've heard a lot of stuff about the ice column, but not necessarily this particular thing. Glad that got fixed. Fixed an issue that could cause a player to lose their house while offline during maintenance. Oh, whoa, I didn't hear about this. And in a future update, we will be reimbursing players who encounter this issue. Exact details around the reimbursement will be in the corresponding update notes. That's wild. Whoa, I didn't hear that. If you guys had this happen, you let me know down below. I had no idea that some people were losing their house during maintenance. That's wild. That's not okay. That sucks. But at least they're saying they're reimbursing you. That's a really wild bug. I did not know that was happening. Wow. Fix an issue with enemy AI duplicating and stacking spawns during the quest Shivering Timbers. I don't know this one particularly, but I know that there are a couple of problems that people have been seeing about AI duplicating, and essentially people were going into an area and getting a bunch of people and killing them because of the way that this like stacking spawns worked. So hopefully, I don't know Shivering Timbers particularly, but I know that that was kind of an issue in some other places. I don't know the exact names, but I know that I've seen people talk about it. Fix an issue that allowed players to initiate a server transfer if they were in a tutorial. Okay, that's just a little weird. Fix an issue causing the trading post to become unresponsive or delayed. Cool, and that just seems like a server kind of standpoint thing. Improve server performance when a large number of players can congregate in settlements. That's good. I know. I don't know if you guys know. It has been as much of a problem recently, but especially early on in the game, uh, first couple weeks, it was like you walked into a town and your just frames just dropped, just like half at least. So I'm glad that got fixed. Performance issues are always good to be fixed. Fixing issues that cause some territory influence to not be properly recognized when lots of players turn in PvP missions simultaneously. That's weird. I didn't really know that this was a thing. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this, but that's good. That kind of sucks if you're trying to flip a territory or something, or try to defend your territory or something. That if everyone turned in a bunch of PvP missions at once, like if you had a group or a couple groups going out and doing them, and it just like didn't give you the right amount, that's kind of problematic. So I'm glad that got fixed. Fix an issue causing some player titles to show uninitialized. That's cool. I haven't seen that actually, but that's kind of funny. Fix an issue where players could become stuck while fishing with lag. Whoa, that's just a weird line. Fish while fishing with lag. Okay, that sucks. If you were fishing and you were lagging and got stuck, I'm sorry. That's just like that just sounds like a really bad time. Fix the UI notification for landing in a hotspot while fishing. Fix a localization issue. Bonus crafting where bonus crafting percentages for tools were displaying as 0% for non-English languages. Okay, so that just seems like it was a tooltip. It doesn't mean like that. Doesn't look like that was actually a problem in the game. It was just like a UI tooltip thing. Fix the time in Europe to properly account for this change in CST to CET. That's good. Fix an issue preventing gear score to increase past 589 from drop rewards. Oh, so it's 589 actually. I've talked about this in a couple other videos, but from my understanding and a lot of people's understanding, gear score wasn't able to be dropped past 591. But apparently, it looks like there was a 589 thing that was like preventing you from getting watermark increase essentially. Wow, that's actually I love how that's a very last thing. That's a huge thing actually. That really changes a lot because essentially people were getting their watermark up to like 591 or as close to it, but essentially just relied on crafted gear because that was the only thing you could get 600 in the game because we knew that essentially 591 wasn't anything past that wasn't dropping. So I'm glad that this is getting fixed. Hopefully, we can start seeing some 600 drops because that's what a lot of people are wondering about. Speculative fixes listed below are tentative, and fixes and mitigations. Our goal is to get these changes out and see if it persists. We kind of know what speculative fixes are at this point. Let's see what it is. Implemented a change to help us dig into the timed out while waiting for a server to describe world issue. And added a fix to reduce a current number of occurrences of this issue while we continue to investigate. I actually haven't heard of this really. You guys have let me know, but I haven't heard about this. That's weird. Implemented a change to help us dig into the timed out while waiting for server to describe world. That's weird. So it sounds like it's just like your world wasn't rendering, and so you got timed out over it. Okay, well I'm glad that got fixed for sure. But all right, guys, let's talk about some main takeaways here. Some things that I think you should really focus on out of this. Out of this, this is a pretty good patch, to be honest. There's obviously some big bug fixes, but there's some other big things to talk about. The coin sellers and stuff. It looks like the TLDR. This is a really great change, but it's more just like a quality of life. Gold sellers look like they're going to be pretty much, hopefully, really diminished. There's not going to be seeing as many of them in the chat. Exploits, they're cracking down on these hard. I talked about this in one of my previous videos. The ban hammers coming out. If you exploit, Amazon is not afraid to just give you a ban, whether it's 24 hours or permanent ban. They do not care. So if you're doing it, just stop. They're cracking down on exploits. Combat, the biggest ones I say that come out of this are the reduced attribute respec by 60% and reduced weapon master respec of Azoth by 75%. These are huge. These are just such good quality of life changes that we were all looking for because we wanted to be able to experiment with new builds and try out new things and have a PvE/PvP kind of thing with the same weapon. And so this is really nice. It's going to allow for a lot more weapon diversity. You're going to see a lot more, hopefully, weapon diversity in the game. Some of the big ones out of this, the identical weapon equipping along with one of the bug fixes down here to essentially stop the exploit between the life staff and the fire staff, where you can spam auto attacks, is a huge one. Group scaling passives, mainly particularly with the Bloodlust and the Hatchet. Essentially, the Hatchet, it was helping it get the 3 times as much damage as you could pretty much do, and the Bloodlust was giving you way more increased movement towards people, pretty much regardless of how far away you are and how many people are nearby. So glad those are getting fixed. It looks like they're fixing magic. It says fixed issues which cause several, magic spells and stuff to not hit consistently. Hopefully, this gets super fixed. Whether it's incinerate or fireball, ice storm, gravity well, whatever it is. I'm really hoping this gets fixed because these are huge things that essentially makes magic non-existent in the game. Fixing a lot of stuff about outpush rush. Essentially, one of the biggest things I think is the battle bread not being it was as twice as effective as intended. So this is huge because on top of the hatchet, it was just game breaking. Big bug fixes to take out of this is that I think that the where is it the life staff one and ice or fire staff one, essentially, yeah, the animation canceling is probably one of the biggest ones out of here. One of the other ones I think that are pretty big is that the gear score increase to 589. I think that's actually one of the biggest ones out of this entire patch. Now, if you don't read this all the way through and you don't read this last one, then you're gonna miss this pretty easily. This is huge. It's gonna essentially let you hopefully be able to get your 600 gear score drops eventually, and that's huge. I know a lot of people have been relying on 600 gear score, particularly from crafting items, because you couldn't get in drops. So that's really huge that they're fixing this finally. Because they did say in the previous post that I did a video on that you were supposed to be able to get 600 drops before. We were like, oh well, we don't know what's going on. We can't get anything past 591. Turns out it was just a bug, and there you are supposed to be getting 600 drops. But I think that's gonna kind of do it, guys. A lot of really great changes. Let me know down below what you guys think are the biggest ones, what you guys are most excited for. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to hit that thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Lets you know you enjoy this kind of content. Get this out to more people. Subscribe if you haven't already. I got a lot of great content on this channel. We got a really great community on here. So subscribe down below and be part of this this family. And you guys think that's gonna do it? I'm gonna leave a link for this in the description below. Obviously, I've meant to say that earlier, but I'm gonna leave a link in the description below for you guys to check this out. And I think that's gonna do it, guys. And until next time, take it easy.